and today's Pittsburgh football blue and gold spring game from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hello, everybody. Derek Jones and the former Ohio State cornerback Dustin Fox with you today. And Dustin, as we take a look at what's going to happen here today, Pitt closed out the season in strong fashion. What do you expect to see out of them here today?
Well, looking to see them replace a lot of their veterans that are going to be in the NFL draft here at the end of April. And really the one key area is quarterback, right? They've got to find themselves a quarterback. Haven't had one since Kenny Pickett was drafted in the first round to the team that also plays here, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We'll look and see today at Phil Jurkovec, the transfer from Boston College. They expect him to, at least right now, be the starting quarterback for this team when they get going.
Well, he's played a lot of football. He's played at Notre Dame. He's played a couple seasons at Boston College. In fact, his best season at Boston College was back in 2020 with Frank Cignetti, his offensive coordinator at BC, who's now the offensive coordinator here at Pitt. So very excited to see him throughout the first 14 practices here in spring. He's looked like a completely different player. They feel like they found their answer for 2023.
Let's throw it down to the field and the Pitt head coach, Pat Narducci. Coach, what are you looking to accomplish here today?
The first thing is, we want to come out of this and be safe and be smart. I've told our guys, hey, no cheap shots. If you got a big hit, let it go. So if you see a guy, we call it whizzing by a receiver, if he gets, catches a dig or something like that, just to pull off and be smart. But I want to see execution. I want to see focus. We got 4 10-minute quarters, and it's about discipline and focus here today.
Coach, you changed up the format for this game as opposed to years past. Why'd you do it?
I want to see something a little bit more competitive. And,
okay.
I think our kids are cranked up about it. I didn't know how they were going to react coming into it, but I think they're excited about this new scoring system here that we've used in our jersey scrimmages for years.
Coach, we'll let you get to it. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the day.
Sounds great, guys. Appreciate it. Hail to Pitt.
Lots of changes to what's going to happen today in terms of the scoring system. A touchdown is worth 6 points for the offense. Defensively, though, 5 points for a turnover, 12 points for a turnover with a touchdown. So there are a lot of moving parts in the scoring system today, including 4 10-minute quarters and a 10-minute halftime as well. We are just about set for kickoff. It will be Ben Sauls kicking it away, and Rodney Hammond deep. The kickoffs will not be live today, so you're not going to see a ton in terms of returns. Sauls puts a leg into it, and we are underway here in the blue and gold game. And Hammond makes his way to the 20, and we will start up shop from there.
Well, here is what every Pitt fan wants to see. And obviously, they've been looking for a quarterback since Kenny Pickett. Phil Jurkovec comes in, transfers in from Boston College after 3 seasons. Not great numbers the last couple years, but was really good in 2020. Battled some injuries. And as we talked about there in the open, Derek, Frank Cignetti, their offensive coordinator, has really been impressed with the way he's been practicing, his poise, his leadership, all the things that you look for out of a quarterback.
Hammond, the deep back here on a 1st and 10. And the end around above Means. And Means brings it across the 30-yard line, near the 33, where the stop is made by Philip O'Brien and Noah Bigelow.
So a little trickeration to start the game. Offensively, you pick up the first down. And they get a point for that.
Yeah. Yes.
This is not hockey. It's 1-0. It's a very unique point system, but it allows the defense to have opportunities to score on common plays as well.
Jurkovec will slide to the shotgun this time with Hammond as the deep back, and they'll set up the screen. Out to the 35, near the 40 is Hammond, who's brought down by Elliott Donald.
It's a great block by 61, Ryan Jacoby. Transfer from Ohio State on the outside, and a good cutback by Hammond. Nearly picks up the first down.
Nick Lappy, the linebacker, had a shot at him there, couldn't make the stop, and Hammond able to get things done. He's the leading returning rusher for this Pitt offense. Israel Abanikanda, getting set for the NFL. He had a tremendous year last year. As that snap getting away from Jurkovic, and that will bring the football back near the 31-yard line. So the defense...
Well, that should be a sack, so 2 points for the defense, you'd think, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
I'd call it a sack.
Yeah, sure.
But remember, Coach Narduzzi's the one put up the points.
Yes. Now, the last 2 Saturday scrimmages that have taken place, they've been won by the defense. Daniel Carter making his first appearance. Jurkovic back to throw, and he will get sacked. Samuel Okunlola with a stop.
Yeah, you watch 17 here come off the right side. Just a great move inside on a double team. Zubovic tries to get his hands on him, and a great job by Okunlola.
Caleb Junko will head to the field to punt. Israel Polk back deep. Junko set the all-time record for a punt in the Sun Bowl, an 85-yarder against UCLA in the win for the Pitt Panthers. Polk waves it off as that ball will get touched up around the 31-yard line. We'll step out for a quick break. More from the Blue and Gold game in a moment. With the NFL Draft less than 2 weeks away, the Huddle crew will have their draft analysis special Thursday night, highlighting ACC players. Our 1-hour show begins at 6 Eastern on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Christian Veillere in at quarterback now for Pitt. He completes his first pass of the day. That's to the tight end Jake Renda for a first down. And Dustin, an opportunity here for Veillere to show what he can do as a transfer.
Yeah, the transfer comes in from Penn State. Just played a few games for the Nittany Lions, and obviously they're looking for a future after Phil Jurkovic. And certainly there's still competition. I mean, it feels like Jurkovic has the job won, but in that room there's still a lot of competition. And Christian Veillere has shown a lot of ability. But remember, just been here a short time, trying to pick up this offense, and certainly more of a pro-style offense here with Frank Cignetti.
3 wide receivers set for Veillere, throws left, and that catch is made by Lamar Seymour, the freshman, with another first down. So Veillere, hey look, he said coming in, he's like, I didn't come here to sit.
Right.
I want to play.
No question. They've got really 3 or 4 quarterbacks behind Jurkovic that all can compete, including Nate Yarnell, who played a little bit last year. Ty Diefenbach, who we'll see a little bit later as well. And you mentioned there Lamar Seymour, the freshman who just got here. This kid's going to compete for some playing time at the wide receiver position.
Seymour is out wide to the left here on a 1st and 10. Veillere. There's another catch made by Renda. He's stopped by Donovan McMillan, the strong safety. So far, Veillere has the offense moving in his first possession.
And we saw the first offense go against the 2 defense. Now we're seeing the second offense go against the first string defense to this point.
2 tight ends set this time and some movement up front. A host of bodies moving for Pitt, and it's Dorian Ford, the left guard.
Take a point off the board.
Yes. Penalties also take things back. -1 for a penalty. Blue with the early lead here in the first quarter. Again, 10-minute quarters here today. Seymour out wide to the left again for Veer. Veer fires over the middle. It's caught inside of the 20-yard line. That's Jake McConaughey, who the coaching staff has been very happy with here through spring practices.
This is just a great route, great throw. The base defense for the Pitt Panthers is quarters coverage, and that is a quarters beater, that post right down the middle, and a great throw by Veer. And boy, McConaughey, he's a team favorite. They love this guy, a walk-on who's just kind of done everything for this team and has had a really strong spring, and they kind of expect him to be in the mix in the fall.
Trips out wide this time for Veer. Floats one towards the end zone, and that is incomplete. Wanted to go to Seymour again.
Boy, nearly picked off by Marquez Williams, the cornerback. And Brian in coverage as well. The field safety. That's one area they feel really good about here, Derek, is that secondary. They've got a lot of depth coming back, especially at the cornerback position. They've got really 3 guys they feel like can be starters. And between their safeties and linebackers, they feel like they've got a strong back 7.
2nd and 10. They put Seymour in motion. It's a screen. And Derek Davis with the reception as Davis has his progress impeded. He stopped at the 12 as Philip O'Brien in the mix for the defense.
That's a great job by the Mike backer, Shane Simon. 32, the transfer from Notre Dame. Expect him to have a big year. Sniffs out that screen and makes the tackle.
We'll bring about 3rd and 6 from the 12-yard line. Veer joined by Davis, the LSU transfer. Veer to the 10, to the 5. Davis making his way towards the end zone, and he is in. Derek Davis scores the first touchdown of the day in the blue and gold game.
This is just all Derek Davis. Nothing open down the field. Just take the check down. Davis gets to the sideline and somehow keeps his balance, tiptoes right into the end zone. Terrific balance and concentration by Derek Davis, who Pitt fans are really excited to see. Remember, he just transferred in from LSU, and they need depth at running back. That's a great play.
Saul's on for the extra point. And he connects.
So the Panthers find the end zone first. Derek Davis, your first look at him getting in the end zone. 8-3.
And the app is Florida State and North Carolina State. Game 2 of their 3-game series from Doak Field at Dale Park begins at 7 Eastern. Derek Jones and Dustin Fox with you from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. It's the blue and gold spring game and an 8-3 lead for the gold. Sauls will kick it away, and Hammond will let this one sail over his head and out of the end zone. We'll see Phil Dracovic for the second time today. And Dustin, let's go back to that Veer possession. I mean, he looked pretty strong, good arm.
Yeah, we were even talking about it during the commercial break. He looked really good. Precise, accurate. Got him in the end zone, of course, and you know, it'll be interesting. Coach did tell us yesterday, yeah, it's Drakovic's job probably to lose, but there's still a lot of competition and still a lot of time left before that Wofford opener on September 2nd.
Daniel Carter, the deep back, and they'll go play action. Dracovic will air it out long for Means, and that is incomplete. broken up deep as Stefan Hall with the breakup.
Yeah, you can see the arm strength here of Dracovic. Getting that football all the way down. Nearly a great play, but really a better play, as you mentioned there, by Hall coming in there at the last second and forcing the PBU.
All the free safety there to get back in time to stop what would have been a huge completion to Bub Means. By the way, no Kanate Muntfield today. He's out with a hand injury for this Pitt offense. Second down, the reception made near the 30-yard line by Israel Polk. And that'll bring up third down on the way for this Pitt offense that, you know, we haven't talked too much about the rushing game, but Israel Banakanda moving on to the NFL. That's a big loss for them potentially in the backfield, but talking to the coaches, they felt like they had a crew that could fill the void.
Well, and really, you know, Rodney Hammond was supposed to play a bigger role last year. Early in the season, kind of twisted his ankle, wasn't quite himself really until the end of the year. And in that Sun Bowl was just phenomenal and was the MVP of that game.
Sibo Flemister into the game now as Dracovic floats one downfield. It's incomplete. Trying to get Polk again.
Interesting to see the kind of philosophy here in this game, taking some shots with Dracovic down the field, testing out the defense, and obviously Randy Bates' defense plays a lot of that man coverage on the outside, so some opportunities to test those corners. And if you've followed much of spring practice so far, there's been some battles between the wide receivers and corners in practice, and we're seeing some of that on display today.
Shea Wabuko back to receive. By the way, 3 and out. That's a point for the defense. And that punt will roll out of bounds just shy of the 41. Going back to the last drive, Christian Veer got things out to a positive start, Dustin.
Yeah, he did, and I like the way they kind of eased him into it. Some quick, easy throws to the flat, taking his checkdowns. Did a great job on this post pattern to Renda down the middle, and then, of course, the touchdown. Derek Davis. And now it looks like we're going to see a new quarterback here. Derek, we're going to see Nate Yarnell.
Yes.
The only quarterback on the roster who's taking a snap last year for the Panthers.
So Nate Yarnell started one game last year against Western Michigan. TJ Harvison will join him. It's a quick play action throw and the reception made by Seymour. It's Javon McIntyre making the tackle there. And Yarnell, again, in the start last year, it was a win against Western Michigan. And that's the kind of game that gave this coaching staff a lot of confidence in Yarnell. They spoke highly of his leadership yesterday in our meeting with the coaching staff. And Yarnell now will try to roll that into the spring game here today.
Yeah, in fact, you know, Frank Sinetti, the offensive coordinator, said that Yarnell might actually be the backup right now as that pass is batted down.
Sean Fitzsimmons showing the hands.
Randy Bates was loving talking about Sean Fitzsimmons yesterday. Said he's just Pittsburgh tough. I mean, the guy is just a really, and he said this in a positive way. He said he's a dirtbag.
Yes.
And if you follow
yes,
baseball and you know some football, that is a positive term. It's not a negative. It's the guy's a nasty dude that you want on your defensive line.
Redshirt freshman. As now it's 3rd and long, a 3rd and 12 here. Yarnell sets up a screen, has it complete. Keeping it alive, though, is Harvison, and Harvison is finally stopped at the 40-yard line as McIntyre there on the play yet again.
It's a pretty good effort by the freshman Harvison, who's had himself a really nice camp, just arrived in January and shows a little wiggle. You can see this guy's got some ability. in for 2,000 yards as a senior out of Carrollton, Georgia.
Junko on to punt. Good kick.
That's a good one.
Fielded back at the 1, heading into the end zone, now making his way out near the 5-yard line. As once again, Wabuko with the move. When we come back, we'll take a look at the 2022 Pitt season. It was a roller coaster ride of a season for Pitt. They started 3-1, including that tremendous win against West Virginia. Then, of course, from there, they lose to Tennessee. They lost 3 of their next 4 after the 3-1 start, but they started to turn things around. They end up winning their last 4 games in the regular season to close out matters, and then in the Sun Bowl, they get a last-second victory over UCLA. Start of the second quarter, Jurkovic back in again at quarterback. As Flemister is stopped by Jimmy Scott on the first offensive play of quarter number 2. And Dustin, you take a look at last season, they had to do that with 3 different quarterbacks playing at different points of the year.
Well, that's what's so amazing about the job that they did, and we give a lot of credit to Coach Narduzzi and having players ready to go, having the depth ready to go, putting guys in position to have success. And certainly the one thing I thought was interesting is that Sun Bowl game, they had 8 opt-outs, right? So that game kind of gave them a feel of what it's going to be like this season. A lot of these players got some experience, and they won that game against a really talented UCLA team.
Carter Johnson with the catch. A tackle made by Bigelow. As Johnson, one of the 4 tight ends available today, and that's obviously an area where Pitt would like to see more production offensively this season. Gavin Bartholomew, one of the tight ends are counting on this season. He is a scratch today. Not available. 3rd and 6. Jurkovic gets the shotgun snap, pressure, but a wide open Bub Means near midfield, an easy catch for Means. Good blitz pickup there by the Pitt offense.
Yeah, really good job by Sibo Flemister, the running back who transferred from Notre Dame, picks up the blitz, buys Jurkovic a little bit more time in the pocket, and somehow finds Means wide open for the first down.
Jurkovic so far, nice start for him, 5 of 7 for 40 yards. And the 5th-year senior has his team at midfield. Hammond back in deep. It'll be an inside handoff to Miles Alston. Alston in deep trouble. Alston dancing the tightrope along the sideline, far side. Scott and O'Brien there, trying to track him down. It'll be a loss of 1 officially on the play.
That was a terrific effort just to nearly get back to the line of scrimmage. That play was busted up in the backfield by O'Brien, who had him for about a 6-yard loss. So that was a great effort.
And again, with the point system, it's a point for a loss on a play. Throw downfield, caught. Means inside of the 35, down near the 32. So Bub Means continuing his strong play as Bigelow with the stop.
Bub Means, a great size, 6'2", 215 pounds, goes up and catches this in between 4 defenders, it looked like. That's just athleticism. Pitt fans got to love to see that, as you're looking for that number 1 receiver, somebody to replace Jared Wayne. And he's having himself a nice start to this game.
Absolutely. He had 84 yards in the win against UCLA in the Sun Bowl as Hammond up the middle, inside of the 30, down near the 28. Buddy Mack with the tackle. Offensively last season for Pitt, it was definitely a mixed bag because of the passing game really not able to find their sea legs throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, it was certainly a tough year for them. You mentioned the quarterbacks and all that. And the good thing about this Pitt team is that they're really balanced. They're just a tough football team. They find ways to win games that are close. And their defense, Randy Bates has done a really good job with that defense as they were right around 20th in the nation in total defense to end the season.
2nd and 6. It's Daniel Carter this time with the carry. Carter moves his way inside of the 25-yard line near the 23. That'll be good enough for the first down for the Panthers. And again, we mentioned a little bit about it earlier with Abanikanda. He was a major part of the offense. He had over 1,800 yards of total offense, 21 total touchdowns on the season. So clearly, while the passing game did struggle at times, Abanikanda really helped a great deal in that rushing attack.
Yeah, 183 yards a game on the ground. They want that to be their bread and butter. And there you see right now a really terrific run right there up the middle by Daniel Carter. Carter's got some speed. You can see it's a really good block and a cut right in the center of your screen. And put Buddy Mack on some skates right there.
Abe Ibrahim with the tackle there to prevent Carter from getting a touchdown. That'll set up a 1st and goal from the 5. Jurkovic will set it up this time from the shotgun. Good penetration by that Pitt front defensively. Ibrahim with the tackle along with Okunlola.
Yeah, Ibrahim, or 52, just shoots his gun right off the outside and gets in there for the loss.
Second and goal this time from the 4. Once again, Carter deep. Carter again. This time pushes his way across the goal line for 6. So Daniel Carter slipping through a Del Gaudio tackle to get into the end zone.
Beautiful run, great blocking up front. Carter's not even really touched until he gets into the end zone. So now you got 2 touchdowns by running backs. Derek Davis on this swing pass, and now Carter up the middle puts the goal up 15-7.
Franco Fernandez Injo on with the extra point to make it a 16-7 ball game.
Well, you wondered if Pitt was going to find themselves some running backs. They've got a couple. They got a couple touchdowns here as the goal's on top.
3 more games highlight our spring football schedule next weekend, all on ACC Network Extra. Next Friday, Louisville and Syracuse both kick off at 7 Eastern. And next Saturday, Wallace Wade Stadium hosts Duke's blue and white spring game starting at 2 Eastern. ACC Network Extra is ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform, which is accessible through the ESPN app on your smartphone, tablet, or connected streaming device like your TV. Or go to ESPN.com/watch. It'll be Sauls kicking it away here once more in a 16-7 ball game in the second quarter. Hammond across the 20 to the 30 to the 40. Hammond on his way. Untouched to the end zone. Rodney Hammond to the house. haven't talked a ton about special teams, but
No.
Hammond looked pretty sleek here.
He did, and someone's got to get a hand on him. And, I mean, he really is untouched all the way to the end zone, and certainly they were not going to go live with any of their special teams, but they're going to let him return until somebody at least tags him off, like a flag football or something like that, touch football. And there, untouched, right to the end zone. And really, the gold putting it all over the blue.
Ben Saul's on for the extra point, so Hammond can show the ability to run the football, and obviously now with an opportunity throughout the season perhaps to be an impact player in the special teams department. The Saul's extra point splits the uprights. And Hammond taking care of business here in the blue and gold spring game. 23-7 advantage. The NFL draft on the way, and this Pitt football program knows a lot about putting players into the NFL draft. We mentioned the Sun Bowl and the opt-outs. They had 8 opt-outs in that game. A lot of that had to do with the NFL draft and players trying to get prepared for that.
There's no question. I mean, this has been a powerhouse for putting players in the National Football League. And the thing that's interesting is there's a really good run here on the outside by Flemister. Is a lot of these guys come here to Pitt as 3-star recruits, and they take players, they develop them, and they turn them into really good football players. And you'll see in the rankings, they're not always the highest in terms of the recruiting rankings, although next year they got a good class coming in. But they've just been a machine putting folks into the National Football League, and you're going to see maybe 7, 8 more this year.
By the way, no kickoff to set up that last offensive possession, or this current offensive possession, I should say.
It's Narduzzi's world. We're just living in it.
That's correct. Veer back at quarterback. He's got trips to his right on a 2nd and 5. Veer slings one out to his right, but Polk and Veer not on the same page. As we get a look at the recruiting ranks, Pitt there at the bottom of that list, Dustin. But when we talked to Coach yesterday, Coach Narduzzi, they know that they are into player development. So they're not necessarily going to have the 4-star guys littered throughout the program.
Well, and they also recruit a certain area of the country, right? I mean, they want to get the core of their football team from Western PA, from Northeast Ohio, Youngstown, Akron, kids like that, tough kids who understand what it's like to grow up here in the blue-collar town, and the kids play like it. It's kind of a culture that they've developed here at Pitt.
Timeout called by the offense, and they will get together, both sides, to talk shop here with the score 23-7. Gold with the advantage as we head down the home stretch here of quarter number 2. Thanks for joining us here today. Derek Jones and Dustin Fox with you. And Dustin, what are some of your early takeaways from what you've seen here?
To me, the number one thing that I've seen is they've got a plethora of talent at running back. We've seen 4 or 5 guys who've made plays from the running back position. From what we've seen from Dracovic, looks pretty solid. Veer, the backup, has looked really good, except for that last throw, which I'm guessing that was probably on Israel Polk, the freshman, who's just a little bit on the wrong page there. But no, I mean, the offense has looked really strong. Now remember, you're talking about you're going 1 offense versus 2 defense, 2 offense versus 1 defense, things like that. So it's not totally indicative of how the teams are playing, but I've been impressed with especially the skill positions. And one other player, too, is Bub Means. That kid looks like he's going to be a player.
Veer fires, and that is incomplete. Wanted to hit Carter Johnson, the tight end. Braylon Lovelace back in coverage. And that'll set up 4th down here. And a punt on the way from Jeff York.
Yerk's the transfer from Elon, who is going to be competing for the starting job. They had some issues punting last year. So he's practicing his golf swing there. Going to get a quick 9 in this afternoon if the rain holds off. Okay.
Low line drive as Wabuko scoops it up, makes his way out of bounds near the 40-yard line. And the punting last year for this Pitt team, that was something that was a concern without a doubt for the coaching staff.
Yeah, it was pretty much by committee. I mean, Cam Gass and Sam Vanderhaar were the punters last year, and obviously Junko and Yerk seem to be getting most of the reps here in spring ball. May see some of them competing, but right now I think it's between Junko and Yerk for the job. And that wasn't the best punt from Yerk right there, but you know Junko had that Sun Bowl record punt of 85 yards back in December.
Yarnell back into the game, play action, and the reception made quickly by Josh Altsman. As Altsman brings it across the 45 to the 46-yard line off the stop by McIntyre. The punting, and you can see from the ACC ranks, the average of 38.4 worst in the ACC last year.
As my old coach, Jim Tressel at Ohio State, used to say, the punt is the most important play in football. Told us that the first day of camp, and we were like, what? Makes a lot of sense. Flip the field, hidden yardage. Got to be able to kick the ball.
Yarnell with another completion, this time to Jake Renda. He's pushed out of bounds by McIntyre. And, you know, we get caught up so much in talking about the quarterbacks and the skill guys and defenders, the special teams. You can't take that for granted. And you're right, Coach Tressel, that point made a lot of sense.
The folks in Columbus used to call it Tressel ball, which meant, you know, play good defense, live to fight another down, punt the football, make field goals, hold your opponents to field goals in the red zone, things like that. That's the key to winning. That's a wide open throw.
And it's Israel Polk, the freshman, out of bounds. As Marquez Williams in coverage there, trying to track down Polk.
And a nice opportunity here for the offense and Coach Narduzzi to get a look at their offense kind of in that end of half situation. $1:03 to go. They're nearing the red zone. Plenty of time. Got a couple timeouts left here. Let's see how Yarnell handles this situation.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 25-yard line. Yarnell will set up a screen. The reception made by Davis. And Davis is stopped shy of the 25-yard line, near the 26. As McIntyre there in the mix once more.
You think Frank Signetti wants to work on the screen game in the scrimmage?
We have
seen about 6 of them.
Yes, we have seen that a lot so far here today as another timeout is called. Gold with 2 timeouts remaining. A 24-9 ball game. And you're talking to Coach Signetti yesterday, and you can get the sense that, you know, they're still in the install phase of what's going on as they get set for the season.
Yeah, coaches get kind of set in their ways. You know, Narduzzi lets Signetti do his thing, and he tells him, because, you know, the defense won the first couple of scrimmages. And I asked him, like, does that bother you at all? He's like, Coach Signetti is install 1, install 2, install 3, go through everything, and he wants to get everything put in here by the 15th practice, which is today. And they feel like they've done a good job, and he's not too worried about it. He says, listen, we don't play games until September. So now's the opportunity, now's the time to get all these things, plays put in, especially when you've got new quarterbacks and a lot of new faces on the offensive side.
Yarnell running out of time, and they blow the play dead with the pressure and a sack on the play as Bam Brema there to cause the play to stop.
Just a twist on the inside, and there's just nowhere for Yarnell to go, and that's going to be points for the Blue.
Second timeout called by the Gold. One timeout remaining for them. 2 for Blue with 48 seconds left to go before halftime. 10-minute quarters today. Have about a 10-minute halftime, and now faced with a 3rd and 18. Well, we talked about Coach Signetti. We'll have to dig in his bag of tricks here on a 3rd and long.
I bet it's going to be a screen.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Or just a draw play, something just to try and pick up 5-6 yards, to get yourself in better position to kick the field goal here.
Well, look, here's the thing. They do, as we've seen today, have backs that can catch the football out of the backfield. 5 defensive backs this time on a 3rd and 18. Davis is deep for Yarnell. Yarnell rolls out, fires downfield, and that is almost intercepted by Brandon George.
Yeah, there's really good pressure off the outside by Bengali Kamara, number 11. That creates the pressure, and somehow, you'll watch 11 right here, forces Yarnell outside the pocket, nearly intercepted, but a great job defensively by Kamara.
And we will see a field goal by Ben Sauls. Sauls was one of the heroes of the Sun Bowl. He had 5 field goals, including the game winner in that contest. Kick on the way. Plenty of distance, but it is no good. So Sauls can't connect on the 51-yard attempt. That was his long last year against Duke. Last year in the Sun Bowl, different outcome, as he was able to knock through a 47-yarder to win the contest. UCLA had control in the game early on, but Nick Patty rallied the offense, set them up in field goal position for Sauls to close it out with a game winner in the Sun Bowl. 37-35 win over UCLA in El Paso, Texas, as the Panthers had the opportunity to celebrate. And we mentioned the punting, the kicking, a little bit of a different view from what we see from Sauls.
Yeah, that one was just a little bit off. That was a great kick in the Sun Bowl. Pressure kick. You can see how excited. And I'll tell you, a win like that can really put a lot of momentum into a team going into an offseason. That was a big victory for the Panthers.
Yarnell takes a knee, and that will close out action here as we get set for halftime in just a few moments. As these two sides have been back and forth here today. And what is a 24-11 lead for the Gold in the Pittsburgh Blue and Gold spring game coming up. Jordan Cornette and the ACC Huddle crew will be talking about the 2023 ACC season after these messages. The ACC Network and the Pittsburgh Football Blue and Gold spring game. It is a 24-11 lead for the Gold over the Blue. Derek Jones and Dustin Fox with you. Dustin, that first half, take us through some of your thoughts out of what you saw.
Well, I was impressed with really the way all 3 quarterbacks played in that first half. And we talked about, you asked me some of the things that stood out to me. I thought the running backs, the 4 that we saw, really 5 we saw, were terrific. And you take a look at some of the throws. This is Valle, and he finds his running back on the outside there. That, of course, is the transfer from LSU, Derek Davis. Finds his way to the end zone. Then another rushing attack by Daniel Carter, another one of the talented running backs. And then how about Hammond? We know he's a really good running back, but shows the speed and versatility, and he may have found himself a role on special teams here with a really long kickoff return, untouched to the end zone.
Hammond will be back for the kickoff here when we start the second half. 6 possessions for the offense in the first half, 187 yards of total offense. Defense was busy throughout that first half with a couple of sacks. And Christian Veer, 6 of 9, 74 yards with a touchdown pass. Meanwhile, McIntyre, busy for him on the defensive side with 6 tackles. Hammond across the 20 to the 25. Not so much luck this time on the return. And if you're just joining us, the game rules a little bit different than what you're accustomed to. For the offensive scoring 6 points for a touchdown, the traditional point after worth a point, but a first down also worth a point as well. The defensive scoring 5 points for a turnover, 12 points for a turnover that leads to a touchdown, 3 and out, and a tackle for loss as well. Each results in a point. 2 points for a sack or a safety. Also, some points taken away for selfish penalties, including a personal foul as well. Ty Diefenbach into the game. It's a pitch to TJ Harvison. As Diefenbach getting his first action of the day. And again, you know, we expected to see a multitude of quarterbacks. Dustin, what are your thoughts here on Diefenbach?
Well, he's a young kid. I mean, he's just a freshman. And I think they're excited about his ability, his size, and all that stuff. The intangibles, he's got it all. I mean, I'm down here on the field now, by the way. We made a little transition here at halftime. I'm going to try to get some interviews for you guys down here on the sidelines. But I'm taking a look at Diefenbach, and I'm like, man, this is a big kid. Good-looking kid for a freshman, and I think he's got a bright future.
Harbison eaten up that time in the backfield by Sean Fitzsimmons, who is active once again in the backfield as the Pennsylvania native has made a couple of nice defensive plays in this game. It'll be a 3rd and 12 for Diefenbach and the offense. And some movement up front.
Take a point off the board.
The false start against Isaiah Montgomery. So Montgomery costing the gold team a point. As the clock continues to move here in the 3rd quarter, Derek Jones and Dustin Fox with you. As Dustin talked about, he's down on the field in the second half. We'll have some pretty cool stuff headed your way. We'll hear from some very special guests as well. It's a 3rd and 17, but it's going to change because we've got another penalty here.
Offside, defense, into the neutral zone, was an offensive lineman's free. Tiger penalty, 3rd down.
Bengali Kamara caught offsides. So that will be a point away from the defense. So the blue, losing a point after the gold, lost a point for their false start. Diefenbach stepping up, and he will be sacked. Nate Temple got there first to get to Diefenbach. So 2 points for blue. Caleb Junko will make his way onto the field to punt here on 4th down. Israel Polk back to return this punt here by Junko. Pretty good kick by Junko. Sends Polk back near his 18. Near side out of bounds, near the 30-yard line. When we come back, we've got a very special guest. Aaron Donald will join us when we return. Lead for the gold. Let's take you down to the field. Dustin Fox has one of the best of all time to ever do it with him, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, one of the best players in the National Football League, 3-time defensive player of the year, and of course, Super Bowl champion Aaron Donald. How's it feel to be back in Pittsburgh?
I feel good. Anytime, back home and, get to come down and see the young guys ball, it's a good day. So,
now, I know you make your home here in the off season, so Pittsburgh means a lot to you, right?
Yeah, well, born and raised here, helped me mold me to who I am. So, every off season I always come back and, trying to get my work back at Pitt and train around people that, got me to where I'm at. So,
I was telling you before we came on, I remember watching you at the Senior Bowl. And people were like, he's undersized. I'm like, this dude is a monster. And I'm like, this guy will be a beast in the NFL. Did you know that you'd have the type of career that you did when you entered the NFL?
No, I didn't. I knew I would have some success, but I never imagined the things that I would be able to accomplish and do in this league in such a short amount of time. But, hard work pay off and just working and doing what I need to do to just get myself better and focus on what I got to do to help my team to win. A lot of things came with that. So,
obviously winning the Defensive Player of the Year 3 times is amazing, individual award, but winning a Super Bowl, that had to be kind of the cherry on top, right?
Ain't nothing like that. All the individual accolades, it's amazing, accomplished, it's a blessing, but to win that ultimate goal and be a world champion, the best team, the last team standard, there's nothing like it at all.
So you're here at the spring game. We're talking a little Pitt football, talking some NFL. How much do you pay attention to the Pitt football team during the regular season when you have the opportunity to watch them?
I try to watch as much as I can. Obviously being on the West Coast, we don't always get the game. So every time I can watch a game and sit down and watch it, I'm tuned in for sure.
So your nephew is on the roster as well, and he wears 94, right? Okay, so that's a number very similar to you, right? 97, close enough, right? So, what have you seen of your nephew so far? He's made some plays today.
Yeah, he's getting better. He definitely, to see where he was to where he was last year to where he's at now, it's like night and day. I see the improvement. I see him when I come to the practice. I see him making plays, making the big plays. Got that excitement. So, he has all the right questions. He's always calling me, sending me his film to watch. So, he got the mindset to want to be great. He just got to keep working. So,
what do you think about the job Coach Narduzzi's done here? He's been here since 2015. The last 2 seasons, really since he's been here, they second most wins to Clemson in the ACC. So it's a pretty impressive job that Coach has done.
He's doing a great job. It's about winning, obviously, and he's doing that, and he's going to continue to do that. So, me being an alumni and now just a Pitt fan, you love to see it. So.
Do you keep in contact much with ex-players from Pitt in the league, and when you see him during the games? Obviously, DeMar Hamlin's here as well. We know his situation. We'll try to talk with him in a little bit, but you talk to the Pitt alum quite frequently?
Yeah, I try to keep in contact with some guys, and definitely guys that I played with, and that came out with me for sure. So,
all right. So, last question: how many more years are you gonna play?
I don't know. We're gonna see though. We can go. We're gonna go. We just gonna worry about this year right now and see what happens from there. So,
Aaron Donald, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
I love the question about retirement with Aaron Donald, because that's obviously one of the storylines in his career as of late, especially since his team, the Los Angeles Rams, won the Super Bowl. But he's not worried about that right now. He's worried about what's going on the field. And Dustin, pretty cool moment as you're asking him about his nephew. Elliot Donald makes a play.
Yeah, I heard our producer say in my ear, my back was turned to the field as I was talking with Aaron Donald. But yeah, it's impressive to see his nephew wearing his old gear and making some plays.
Aaron Donald, of course, one of the greatest of all time. So many tremendous Pitt alumni a part of this program. And we'll hear from some more later today. A 24-15 lead here for the Gold with 3:30 left to go in quarter 3. Nate Yarnell once again in the mix here for this Pitt offense. Good cutback up the middle, down near the 39-yard line. It's Flemister with the carry, and the transfer from Notre Dame potentially helping to add to this depth this season. And Dustin, he's another guy out of this backfield that they'll look to probably give some run to this season. And Flemister, the deep back yet again.
Sorry, Derek. Efforting for some interviews down here on the field. Got some stars in the building.
Hey, you're pulling double duty right now as the flea flicker is incomplete. Intended for Lamar Seymour.
That's about the third or fourth time Seymour's been a target for one of the quarterbacks, and you can see the speed this kid has. They're trying to get him the football. Just a freshman.
And we've talked, obviously, a lot about the quarterback position and the running backs. Wide receiver, that's going to be a work in progress, obviously, with transfers and true freshmen coming into the program. We'll see how they kind of fit into the offense as well.
No doubt. And you look at some of the depth that they're trying to fill. I mean, you're right. It's transfers. It's freshmen. You've got walk-ons and ooh, that's a sack fumble.
Drew Foster, one of the first players there for the Pitt defense.
Now the question is, will they rule that a turnover or just call it a sack? I think we're just going to call it a sack.
2 points for a sack today. Among the rules, 8 sacks at one point in the game against Virginia last season, and that is one of the other things with this team defensively. They've got a lot of bodies that could potentially help add to what was a solid defense last year and one that was very stingy against the run. And Randy Bates felt like he definitely has the guys to generate a pass rush to really help out this defense.
It's just amazing. When you think about it, they're losing like 7 guys to the NFL. Only 5 starters return on defense. On the defensive line alone, they're going to have 4 new starters. And they still feel really good about these guys.
Another screen, Flemister. And Flemister to the 43. There's a stop made by Dylan Bennett. Another screen pass. We saw a few of them in the first half for sure, Dustin.
About 7 now they've run so far. And boy, now being down here, I'm at about the 20-yard line on the field. These guys are competing now. Guys are trying to earn jobs, earn some playing time, and there's some physical football down here now.
Jeff Yerk on the punt here on 4th down. Israel Polk back again. Blue team trying to claw its way back into the game. Yerk awaits the snap. As Polk will watch it bounce into the end zone. We'll make our way off for a break with Gold up by 6. 3 more games highlight our spring football schedule next weekend, all on ACC Network Extra. Next Friday, Louisville and Syracuse both kick off at 7 Eastern. And next Saturday, Wallace Wade Stadium hosts Duke's Blue and White spring game at 2 Eastern. ACC Network Extra is ACC Network's complimentary streaming platform, which is accessible through the ESPN app on your smartphone, tablet, or connected streaming device like your TV. Or go to ESPN.com/watch. Pat Narduzzi watching along today and seeing the Gold team grab a 24-17 lead over the Blue. If you're just joining us and wondering what's going on with the scoring system, why has this come about? They wanted to go to this system instead of what they were doing, which was a draft. And the draft led to some continuity issues along the offensive line. As Eli Kasanovich into the game for the first time. And Derek Davis getting the handoff, stopped by Brandon George. As we head towards the end of quarter number 3. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the 4th quarter. Blue team down 6.
Back at Acrisure Stadium here for the Pitt Spring game. Gold all over the blue, 24-18. Down here on the field, and I've noticed, guys, that DeMar Hamlin, who's here, comes back quite often. He's actually on the defensive sideline, the blue sideline, and he's got a headset on and a play sheet. So I'm not sure if he's actually calling the defensive calls or just listening to the calls, but either way, it's pretty cool to see a famous alum taking part in a really fun day for these kids.
And that's so cool to be able to see, of course.
Yes.
The story of DeMar Hamlin, so well known as a member of the Buffalo Bills and what he went through last year, and it's awesome to see him in great spirits here on the sideline. And hey, if you're a player, how cool is that to have DeMar Hamlin on the sideline kind of helping things along defensively?
No, that's amazing. I used to love it when I was in school, and the alum that you'd watch play on Sundays would come back to games and be on the sidelines, and you'd be looking over there and be like, man, I used to watch that guy growing up. And certainly everyone knows the story of DeMar, and really the miracle that he's even here today is just amazing.
The walk-on Eli Kasanovich in at quarterback. And the handoff to Derek Davis. Davis gets stopped by Hayes after a limited gain. A 3rd and long on the way. 3rd and 12 to be exact as we start up play in the 4th quarter. What do you think DeMar is cooking up there defensively here? The defense has been working here pretty hard.
Well, listen, it's 24-18, right? You got to get points, you got to get off the field, you got to try to get sacks. So if I'm DeMar Hamlin, I'm getting greedy here. I'm bringing some pressure, especially on this 4th and long.
Kasanovich, and it's a handoff to Davis, and Davis gets bottled up. At the 19, A.J. Woods, one of the first there to stop.
Yeah, that's a great job up the middle by that defensive front. And you kind of get the sense here that as this thing winds down, Derek, Coach Narduzzi probably just wants to get out of here healthy. It's been a pretty productive day, especially for this offense.
Well, when we talked to him yesterday, Coach Narduzzi, and said, hey, what do you hope to get out of this game? I mean, and actually all the coaches said this, health was pretty much the immediate talking point. Yes, you have a long time to go before the start of the season, but Dustin, you don't want anything to throw this effort sideways in the progress you've made throughout the spring.
No, it's the only thing you care about. And you've gotten through 14 practices relatively healthy. You get to this game, you want to get out of this with no injuries, which you just cross your fingers and pray and hope that you can. And they're about 8.5 minutes away.
So the 3 and out gives a point over to the blue side to make it a 5-point game now with 8:35 remaining. It's Ty Diefenbach back in at quarterback.
Fumble the snap.
Able to get it back, and that's intercepted.
This could be a pick 6.
Philip O'Brien.
And DeMar Hamlin's chasing him into the end zone.
Into the end zone for a touchdown along with DeMar Hamlin. A pick 6 for the defense. Great read by O'Brien. Broke easy on that one. He intercepts Diefenbach, who was looking for Jake McConaughey on the play. And it goes the other way to give the blue squad the lead.
You know, Brian's expected to have a really vital role in this defense this year.
Saul's on for the extra point. It is an 8-point lead now. Philip O'Brien with the pick 6 to give the blue squad the lead as DeMar Hamlin looks on. 16 unanswered points for the blue. Dustin Fox has one of the many reasons why that long turn of momentum has taken place.
Yeah, we've got Philip O'Brien with us here on the sidelines. Philip, what a play. Take us through that play, the pick six that gave you guys the lead back. That's a 12-pointer.
Sir, actually, it's kind of crazy. Jordan Whitehair really told me to play, man. He gave me some keys, man. Told me to read my keys in the yo, man, and come out. Now it's up to me to make a play, man. I'm happy to be in this position to make it for my teammates. And let's go, man. Hounds for life, man.
Now, did you play offense in high school? Because you look like a running back right there.
Actually, I played in high school. I played receiver my freshman year, so I mean, I've been a DB ever since, so I'm glad, man. Thank God for everything, all these opportunities, man. I just want to keep going. This is a start.
So DeMar Hamlin almost beat you to the end zone there. What's it like having DeMar down here and kind of coaching you guys up?
Full of energy, man. I can't, you feel me? DeMar is incredible, man. Always having him on our side, just telling us how to do things. Him being a
Well, that must feel good.
Yes, sir.
Hot day.
Whew, very hot. It felt like this in Pittsburgh since I came here.
So let's talk a little bit about this season, the expectations for your defense and for your role really taking on that field safety position.
Oh, man, that's a big deal right there. Knowing we had Eric Halley and Brandon Hill back there, man, I always tell myself, man, we got to be better, man. We got to execute like how they did, man. We can't shorten up on nothing. Film early. We the last one to leave the facility out today. And, man, we just keep getting it.
So you guys won the first two scrimmages, defense did, and you guys have been down this entire game. Now all of a sudden it's a 31-24 lead. Defense has played well this spring.
Yes. We played very good, man. All of us locked in, man. We got one goal, is to be the best defense in the country, man. Shout out to our coaches, always making sure we're doing the right things. We execute right. We're drawing it up on the board every day. Shout out to our coaches, man. They play a big part in everything we do, too.
Great stuff, Philip. Congrats on the pick six. Good luck this year, man.
Yes, sir. See y'all later, man. See y'all September.
Thank you, gentlemen, as the handoff to Harvison. And Harvison making his way to the 39. And how about this play? O'Brien on the return. There's DeMar Hamlin almost running stride for stride with him at one point. And what a great moment as a part of this Blue Spring football game. And Philip O'Brien, as you just heard with Dustin, so fired up at his opportunity to be able to get something done here, as we'll have a penalty on the run, by the way.
I will say that that little shower that Philip got,
yeah,
I got a little remnants of it. Felt good.
Yeah.
It's hot down here, man.
This is not the worst day to have that take place.
No, and there were showers in the forecast, and this has just been an absolutely gorgeous, perfect day for football.
Instead, you got the water bottle version of it. Harvison off the left side.
Brian was fired up, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, look, the defense obviously takes a lot of pride in what they do in general, but you get the sense, look, there have been some scraps in the practices between the offense and the defense, and that intensity, the defense has brought that here today. The Pitt defense last season, #1 against the run. They've been one of the top run defenses in the ACC over the last few years. And the defense, one of the big reasons we talked about that run towards the back end of the season, they made some timely plays, of course. Second in red zone defense, which is huge. The sacks, impressive as well. And the third down percentage conversion, best in the ACC last season. And Dustin, defensively, we've talked so much about the offense, but defensively, that's going to be a big part of their success as well.
You always got to stop the run, first and foremost. And we mentioned it. You replaced 4 starters on that defensive line. That's going to be tough. A lot of guys going to the National Football League. But so far this spring, and again, it's just spring football, but the defense has played really well.
Harvison on the carry across the 35 to the 36, gets tackled by Fitzsimmons. And as a first down picked up on the play. And we'll see Jake Frantel into the game for the first time today. So we have seen just about nearly every quarterback here today so far on this roster.
I think have we seen David Lynch yet? We've seen everybody.
We have
not. That ball's on the ground. That's going to be a turnover.
And it will go the other way. So the fumble recovered by Jimmy Scott. Bad exchange there on the snap.
Well, Derek, when you have your 7th-string quarterback in the game who probably hasn't taken a lot of reps and not a lot of snaps under center during the spring, those things tend to happen.
Frantel and B.J. Williams can't connect on the snap. And you're right, just so many different bodies in at quarterback. Eventually you might have that kind of thing pop up. And we mentioned the turnovers today. Remember, when that ball gets turned over, I mean, that's essentially a 5-point play at least, depending on the play's outcome. And as Philip O'Brien found out, with his pick 6, it's a 12-point swing.
Yeah, this was a 24-18 game 5 minutes ago. A pick 6 is huge.
First and 10 from the 36-yard line. Frantel still in. And it's Harbison to the 34-yard line. Donovan McMillan, the strong safety, in for the tackle. Harbison getting plenty of work here in the second half. Harbison heading off as Derek Davis will spell him on a 2nd and 8. Pitt averaged 183 yards per game rushing the football, which was 4th in the ACC. Frantel scrambling, and he will head out of the bounds. The quarterback is not live today, so no hits on the guys in the red jerseys.
It's a little different when September comes around and you're not wearing a red jersey and all of a sudden you got live bullets at you. So it's a little easier for these quarterbacks to feel comfortable in the pocket, sitting back there and knowing you're not going to get hit.
That looked like a broken play there.
Yeah. Well, he showed some athleticism, got outside the pocket, showed some speed.
There's Bigelow there defensively to try to keep step with Frantel. Now a 3rd and 10. Harbison, who's back into the game. Not much. And there's Ibrahim and Isaiah Neal combining for the tackle. So 4th down. We'll see if the offense will stay on the field here. It looks like they will. Three receiver set on the way. Harbison takes the handoff, spins towards the 30, and a penalty marker down. And again, that will cost somebody a point. Ooh, personal foul face mask against the defense, so that will be a 1st down. And this will keep the drive alive. So the personal foul, by the way, that's not a -1. That's a -3 points.
All right, well, the offense on the move. So the goal team's going to get 2 points there, Derek. And now I think maybe Narduzzi's putting his offense in a position to make this thing interesting.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's now an 8-point game. Like I said, this isn't Narduzzi's world.
It's a 1st and 10 following the face mask penalty from the 14-yard line. Frannel will keep it and runs to the end zone for a touchdown. So Jake Frannel, receiving a key block from Trevor Faulkner, gets into the end zone. And Frannel showing that athleticism to the edge to get in.
I was wondering if they decide to maybe go for two, but they're going to bring out the PAT unit.
Saul's on for the extra point, so no two-point try here. And Sauls connects. It's a one-point game in the blue-gold scrimmage. Jake Frannel, the 7th quarterback of the day, showing the wheels. 1-point lead. 1-point game. The schedule coming up for Pitt, it will begin on September 2nd with Wofford. And then one of the interesting games they'll have this season, November 11th, they'll take on Syracuse. That game will be played at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. So a very interesting schedule this year for Pitt. North Carolina in the mix as well. Of course, West Virginia. That game will have a lot of interest as well. They played a fantastic game in the early portion of last season. Dustin, when you take a look at that schedule, what sticks out to you?
I think there's some great matchups early in the season. I mean, that Cincinnati game the second week of the year, you got West Virginia, that's going to be tough. It's going to be, I mean, those are be some big-time nationally televised games for the Panthers. And again, it's going to be an opportunity for Phil Dracovic, who's most likely going to be the starting quarterback, to kind of show the nation that he's the quarterback of the future here.
Hammond back for the return, and he will pretty much stay put. With 2:31 left to go, we've got a one-point game.
Question is, who's going to be the quarterback for this drive? And it looks like we're going to see
David Lynch,
the final quarterback on the roster. David Lynch, the freshman. So walk on.
The final piece to the quarterback puzzle today.
Yes.
We have now seen
7.
Every quarterback on the roster. Yes, 7 quarterbacks today with Lynch's appearance. And some movement up front. And it'll be a false start.
Yeah, they're going to get 58.
I mean, Dustin, as you get into this stage of a game like this where you're seeing to force a third down. Seconds left to go, and what has been a fun day of football here from Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, also the home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today it's the home of the Pitt Blue and Gold game. Davis again, this time near the 35 of the 34, cut down by Buddy Mack, and he is just shy of a first down. Actually, they will give him a spot, it looks like, for the first down. At least that's one of the indications from the officials. Yes, looks like that will be a first down to keep this thing moving. 50 seconds left.
Let's see Lynch put it in the air here. Take a shot.
Another handoff. And to the 36, perhaps, for Davis. Foster and Aiden with the stop. Clock continues to move, and now we'll have a timeout here called.
Let's see Lynch sling the pill here. An opportunity to go get him in field goal range.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, hey. How many times are you going to have a chance to get on the field this season as with a roster with 7 quarterbacks? I mean, these opportunities may not be plentiful for David Lynch.
No, there's no doubt. I'll tell you, Derek, it's been a fun day, fun game. I mean, the first half kind of went quick with a lot of running. Wasn't a lot of big plays, but this second half has been very exciting.
Of course, the highlight, the Phillip O'Brien pick six that really turned the tide in the scoring in this game. Now it's a one-point contest with the Blue up with 33 seconds left to go. And a timeout called by the Gold side. As Lynch back to it. And now we'll have another timeout called. This time it'll be called by the defense and the blue team.
Well, Derek, it's a cat and mouse game down here on the field.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's almost like let's see what you show, and then we'll call a timeout, and we'll make an adjustment. Lynch in the shotgun. Another handoff. And to the 35-yard line is Davis after the stop by Nakai Johnson. We stop the clock here, and we'll have another timeout called by the Gold squad. With 17 seconds now, they start the clock back up. Could be the final play of the game as the handoff once again to Davis. Foster makes the tackle, and that will do it. The blue team wins it 33-32 over the Gold in the spring blue and gold game for Pitt football. And at least for the moment, it appears mission accomplished for Pat Narduzzi and his coaching staff. We saw a lot of positive stuff on both sides of the football today from the offense and the defense. Phil Dracovic, Christian Veillere, quarterback. They certainly showed that they can help raise the play of the quarterback position from what it was a season ago. Plenty of good stuff from the running backs as well. This is a Pitt team that could very well make some noise in the ACC in the 23 campaign. And of course, the big play in this game in the second half, Phillip O'Brien with a pick six. That was a 12-point play, a part of 16 unanswered points scored by Team Blue. And eventually led to a one-point win, 33-32. Of course, you see DeMar Hamlin right there. And the Pitt Panthers will talk things over now, turn the page to get set for action coming up in the fall. A special thanks to our entire crew here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the Pitt Blue and Spring game. For Dustin Fox and our entire crew, I'm Derek Jones saying so long from Pittsburgh. Have a good day, everybody.